discussion. So good afternoon, good morning, or good evening from wherever you're joining us from, whatever part of the world you're joining us, or we're so appreciative of your time to join us for this discussion on the panel. Today's discussion will be around the spiritual purity and female leadership across the three most influential spheres of life: the workplace, the home, and society. Today's topic recognizes a truth we often overlook. Leadership is not only a position, it is a spiritual posture. Women lead in boardrooms, classrooms, ministries, communities, and families. Yet, the pressure, expectations, and complexities of modern life can challenge a woman's inner life even as she rises in influence. So spiritual purity is the alignment of character, values, and purpose. Because when this becomes the anchor that sustains her growth, it becomes also her resilience and her impact. Our goal today is to explore how women can cultivate spiritual depth while navigating leadership roles, how organizations and families can support them, and how society benefits when spiritually grounded women lead with clarity, compassion, and conviction. So this is the discussion today: spiritual purity in the place of work, at home, and in society. And I have three wonderful sisters that I've known almost more than half my life. Some of them are older than me. Some of them I'm older than them. Some of them were aged, but we have been together for a very long time. And so we know we share similar convictions, different cultures, but one thing holds us together, which is believing that as a woman, you have to be decent. As a woman, you have to be diligent. As a woman, you must be a woman of faith. As a woman, you must be committed in whatever position you find yourself, as a leader, as a wife, as a mother, as anybody. As long as you're a woman, you must have decency and you must have integrity and you must have the purity of mind to be able to be a good leader. So today, without wasting your time, I'm going to call on the first panelist. And the rule on the panel is that I'll call your name and you introduce yourself the way you want the participants and every other person that will come and engage on this video want to remember you. So I'm going to call on Mrs. Joy Machunga first, and then Dr. Ulan Jatau, and then Mrs. Helen Chundusu, and that will be the order of introduction. So I call on Mrs. Joy Machunga. Thank you for accepting my invitation. So introduce yourself to the audience. Thank you.
So first of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for just the privilege to be able to share with everybody today. As you heard, my name is Joy Machunga. I'm a housewife. I think that is what I love the most. I love to be known and called a full housewife. I'm a daughter of God that I love very much. I try to be a businesswoman somehow, so that is by the way. And I serve with Bible Study Fellowship as area personnel, Africa, Nigeria, and a mother of 5 and grandmother of 3. So if you,
yeah,
that is like the star.
We're going to have a whole combo of wisdom, discernment, and guidance today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much. So, Dr. Ulan Jatau.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Ulan Jatau, PhD. I'm a senior lecturer with the University of Jos. I have 2 offices right now in the university. I'm in the Department of Accounting, and I also am on secondment with the Center for Gender and Women's Studies of the University of Jos. I am also the executive director of the Shift Initiative, which is an NGO that we focus on youth and women. Our areas include leadership, the climate, and other areas that deal with women and youth. And then I'm also, I like to tell my students that I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have my hands on a lot of things. I run what it's called the shift in Uli's Ventures and Uli's Farms. I'm very much interested in farming. I have a little greenhouse and I plan to retire into farming. What have I left out? I have a ready to wear brand. It's called the Uli's Ready to Wear. And I'm excited to be here to share. I'm happy to share about myself and, to just have the conversation with you all. So I'm looking forward to this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I'm a mother of 2 boys as well.
Oh, fantastic. There's a background noise. Where is it coming from? Who is talking?
That was what was distracting me, actually.
Yeah, there's a background noise. Please, can you honor us so that you can hear the speakers when they're speaking? Dr. Ulan Jatau, thank you for introducing yourself. Mrs. Helen Washik Chundusu, not the least, please introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. Good evening, everyone. Usually the best is saved for last. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here this evening to just share, to talk, to discuss, and to also learn. My name is Helen Chundusu ni Washik. A civil servant back to back. By the grace of God, right now I am the permanent secretary at the governor's office. That's the government house administration. And I oversee, the day-to-day running of all the anything administrative in the governor's office. Apart from being a civil servant, I think I have an interest in, event planning. I like to organize and manage things. So I think when I retire, I'll go into event planning.
We're all waiting for you.
Thank you. I'm a mother of 4, 2 boys and 2 girls. So I'm glad to be here. I'm sure we'll all learn a lot from our discussions this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have all of you gather here together for this very in-depth discussion. But before I go into the main discussion, like my usual order, I want to talk about the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network International that has brought all of us together on this platform. And for those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Princess Nwakego Ibrahim-Pam. I'm the founder and chairperson of the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network International. I'm a wife, I'm a mother of 5, a grandmother of 5, and I'm a chronic entrepreneur. I create things and hand it over. My mind is like a workshop for small businesses. So when I hear my sisters talking about being entrepreneurs, it just reminds me of how my mind never stopped creating and wanting to set up different businesses. So a little bit of the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network. The Expert Professional and Business Women's Network International is a dynamic global platform created to empower, connect, and elevate women who live and work outside their home countries. In an increasingly interconnected world, women are taking bold steps across borders, pursuing careers, building businesses, leading organizations, and shaping communities. Yet, the journey of an expatriate woman is uniquely complex. It requires navigating new cultures, adapting to unfamiliar systems, balancing family transitions, and sustaining professional growth in environments that may not always recognize or support her full potential. EPBWNI, as we call it in acronym, exists to bridge that gap and to ensure that no woman walks that journey alone. At its core, EPBWNI is a community built on global sisterhood, professional excellence, and leadership development. The network brings together expatriate women from diverse industries, corporate, executive entrepreneurs, consultants, academic, creative diplomats, and development professionals. And apart from the expatriate communities, since we started in 2013, we have opened our doors to women around the world. So we operate now in over 25 countries. Each year we are growing as we have more people reaching out to us individually or collectively to help them rebrand themselves, reshape their careers, or start a new businesses. So we're just a network that is for capacity building, a female network that holds the hands of female professional business women to help you stand financially and emotionally. Because if a woman is not emotionally stable, then it's very difficult for her to attain professional growth or financial independence. EPBWN recognizes that women often face dual challenges: the demand of high-level professional roles and the realities of cultural adjustment. Many must rebuild networks from scratch, reestablish credibility in new markets, or navigate workplaces where gender norms differ significantly from their home countries. Other juggle family transition, identity shift, or the emotional weight of living far from familiar support system. The network responds to these challenges by offering peer support, leadership coaching, business development resources, and cross-cultural learning tailored specifically to expatriate women and women in general. We have 3 machines or vocal point that we use in helping women. We have what is called the legal hand. This is established for legal support for women who find themselves in vulnerable positions and they need legal personnel. We provide pro bono. We also have the aspect of the network that provide autonomous counseling for abused women that are in domestic violence, that are vulnerable from sexual harassment in place of work or bereavement. We also have what is called the publishing house. The publishing house is there to help women from every background tell their stories in their own voice, and at the same time make a passive income from their stories being sold on Amazon as a collective story called the niche. EPBWN also serves as a global advocacy voice, championing women's economic empowerment, gender equity, and inclusive leadership across borders. By partnering with international organizations, embassies, corporations, and women-focused initiatives, the network works to expand opportunities for expatriate women and influence policy that support the advancement of women. We are women. Our doors are open to men. We are not only servicing the needs of women. For all the other men that have come to our platform, we have also rendered the same support we have rendered to women. But most of the men that come to the platform, I can honestly say to you, they come to say thank you to me, for they have seen the transformation of their women, their wives, from being a very docile, unhappy, I don't want to use the word confused, but sometimes complicated life that moving from country to country has created for them. The men watch as their wife transform from this person to an international and professional figure, and sometimes to very influential and financially established woman. So that is the success of the platform. And this platform is not demanding financially. Every program that has been established on this platform is free, is sponsored either individually by me or by collaboration with other international organizations that pick up the bills and sponsor our program. So I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, our collaborators, our defenders, and our partners all over the world that see the good in what we do and have always turned up to support our program. So thank you, everyone. With much not to take much of your time, you now know what the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network do across border, across religion, across educational background, across economic background. It's a platform for every woman. So by the grace of God, I want to say our doors are open. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Our emails and phone numbers will be shared in the chat as soon as possible. So with that being said, we will now go back to why we're here today. The spiritual purity and growth of female leader in the workplace, home, and society. I would like to start with Dr. Ulan, who works in a workplace environment, which is a university. And the question would be, what spiritual purity and growth of the female leader at the workplace. Many workplaces demand result over values. How can a female leader maintain spiritual purity when navigating ethical dilemmas, competition, or pressure to compromise?
Thank you so much for that question. I'm smiling because it is a very important question, and I think that there is hardly anyone in the workplace that hasn't faced some kind of challenge in terms of standing up for the truth and, being ethical in what you are doing. I think for me, the first the first thing that happened to me when I joined the university system was, you find that there's an expectation from teachers, lecturers that, they try to pally you. The students try to start calling you mommy. They try to, just warm up to you and all of that. I think what helped me from the get-go was that when I entered the system, I knew that I needed to separate personal relationships, from the relationships at work. And I remember I used to say to my students, I've been doing this for 21 years now. And I remember I used to say to my students at the beginning that even if you were my friend, then you can't come to my house again till after you graduate. I used to say that, but what I'm trying to say is that when they know that you have set boundaries, then it becomes a little easier. They know, they say this one, if you go to her, she would not. She would not oblige you. She would not. And apart from just saying it, I've had students that came to my house and, trying to bribe their way through to get marks or something. And I handled it head on. And I think from there, the word spreads around. And apart from that, I would also say that my background as a child of God helped me to be able to say, okay, look, these are children that need mothering as well, So if somebody else is doing it and they come to you, then I would sit them down and I'll have a conversation. I've had so many conversations with young ladies, about keeping themselves pure. So I think in my workplace, setting the boundaries from the get-go helped me. And so now everybody knows that, no, if this is what you're looking for, you can't go to her. I hope I've answered to a good extent the question.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Talking about integrity and setting boundaries is very crucial when you talk about purity. And when you talk about safeguarding your space as somebody who works in the workplace, because the pressures in the workplace test your integrity and your purity of heart. So for you to be a lecturer and be able to navigate the pressure that comes with students, that is very, that's a good reputation to have. And that gives you that, tool to be able to navigate and do your job to the best of your knowledge without being under pressure. Thank you very much. And I want to just ask one more question, a leading question from what you said. And so with your interaction with your student or maybe fellow lecturers, have you set up a kind of mentorship? How has your behavior created you as a mentor, as a role model in your workplace?
Okay, it's interesting that you ask. A younger colleague of mine who was my student before he became a colleague, he and I started what we call the Student Leadership Summit some years back. It's been a bit quiet now, but we have tried to revive it. So what we did as mentoring was we brought all the leaders in the system, class captain, what do you call them now? Class rep, class governors, all those people that are in leadership in the various departments. We brought them together. We would talk to them about what leadership is and what it isn't. And we mentor them, so that when they do graduate and get into the society, they know what leadership is. And interestingly, on Sunday, I was at a women's program, and we were in a syndicate group, and one of the people in the group put up her hand and said she was my student and that she was now selling shoes. So I tend to give practical examples when I'm in class. I share my life also with them. And she says to me, "Ma'am, I'm selling shoes today because of you." I used to give them examples of my love for shoes and how I turned my passion into a business. So I think that I've heard one or two of them say to me that they look up to me in terms of, some would say, from the way I used to dress when I first came to the system, I was different in the sense that the way I appeared was not the normal. And so you would find students say to me, "Oh, we're looking up to you because you have shown us that it doesn't have to be this way or that way, and that it can be this way and still be, okay for young people." So yes, I have put up the SLS, what we call the SLS, which is the mentoring, the formal mentoring. And then, of course, I have the informal mentoring that students come to me for one reason or the other.
Fantastic. That is so encouraging and so uplifting to know that as we go about our different leadership roles in our different establishment, we are looking at for younger or peers to mentor or to be able to guide into this state of purity and integrity in the place of work. Thank you, Dr. Ulan. I'll still come back to you. So now we want to go back to our next speaker, who is I'm going to add that to us now, Mrs. Joy Machunga, who I'll be asking questions. She has boldly declared herself a housewife with entrepreneurship skills. So this question goes to you. How can women maintain a strong spiritual identity while juggling roles such as mother, wife, caregiver, or household manager? What practices help women avoid burnt out or cultivate inner peace at home? Unmute. Can you unmute now?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, so being a housewife, I was asked somewhere that, what do you do? And I said, I'm a housewife. And I laughed. So this elderly man looked at me and said, "Why are you laughing?" So I'm like, "Oh, well, I just think that when I say I'm a housewife, people look." Then he said, "Well, I think you're doing the most important job in the world," and we had a discussion. And being a housewife is a lot. So I admire a lot of women who add other things, go to work and do this and do that. And before I got married, being a full housewife didn't even cross my mind. It wasn't even like the first thing on my burner. But as we got married, and just in discussion, the first child came. Still, I was just thinking, what should I do and all of that. And then the second child, but at that time, my husband was in Lagos doing business, and we would just have a discussion and say, if I'm not around, who is going to be around with the children? And just somehow, without much discussion, I decided that I want to be at home with the children. And I didn't want to just be at home with the children, just doing work and all of that. Thank God for my background. I grew up in a Christian home, was raised in a Christian home. My mom was a housewife, but was a businesswoman. And so, that sort of served as my background. If my mom could do it, it means I can do it, but then do it differently. And because it is challenging, as time went on, dealing with two kids all under the age of 5 without a husband around, I just knew that I didn't have strength on my own, except I went back to God in prayer. So I just started developing myself spiritually. I just felt it wasn't enough. Yes, I was born again. Yes, I just felt that it was not enough. And then thank God, earlier on at 1988 in September, then I joined Bible Study Fellowship. That was before the children came. So I had started building myself through the study of God's word. But as time went on, I just realized that I needed to be spiritually pure if I wanted to bring my children up in the way of the Lord. And when I say that, I'm not saying that being spiritually pure, like devoid of sin, but just being conscious that day by day, I am searching myself at my motives. I'm going through all of that. And then as the children were coming, then I had other children come to live with me, which became a big challenge because my sister-in-law sent 3 of her daughters. My other sister-in-law sent 2 of her sons to live with me and go to school. So you can imagine what it is bringing up children that are not your own with the conflict and all of that. So I had this, I just remember that as once the children are probably doing their homework or something, I would run into the room and just kneel by my bed to pray. Like, Lord, I need strength for today, especially if something happened in the morning with the children, But then what has really helped from the very beginning is that as a family, we had a family prayer time, but I would wake up by 5 to have my personal prayer time and my personal Bible study time because, before we met as a family, because I just realized that everything was on my shoulder. The children needed advice, they would come to me. Everybody needs advice or needs something, and they will come to me. And I just knew that it was important that I was transparent. It was important for me in public and in private to be who everybody sees that I am. I was being very careful that I didn't want my children to grow up and then maybe we're outside and I'm being all very nice. They might just look and like wonder, is this the same person that we know? So it was very key for me, just at the back of my mind, I'll say to myself, if you choose to be a housewife and you have chosen to take these children under your wings, then you must live a life that will be an example to these children. Was it easy sometimes? Not at all. If I tell you it was easy, I'm lying. There are times that I'm screaming my head, I'm pulling my hair out because some things are going on. But then the strength was still going back to the place of prayer and asking God and asking for forgiveness. It took me a lot of, to be able to tell the children, I'm sorry, I screamed like a mad woman today. It took a lot because at first it was going to be excuses, like, oh, it's because you did this. That was why I said this, or that was why I screamed. But then I just realized that being a housewife automatically you become the leader of that home. You are the leader. Everything rests on your shoulders. What's going to be eaten, what's going to be cooked, what's going to be done, and all of that. So I realized that if I wasn't emotionally stable and spiritually aligned with God and His Word, I was going to fail as a mother, because my thought and my role at that time was that I am preparing these children for tomorrow. And I felt like if they, there's something we say that in Hausa, you've given birth to a child, but not the character. But then at the same time, as a custodian of those children, God has given me the ability to teach them between right and wrong. And so it was hard leading in that aspect. It was easier with my children than the other children. But at the same time, I would say God gave me the strength to be able to, because I wanted, if they were anywhere and somebody says, tell us about your auntie or tell us about your mom, and they'll be able to say, she is this, she is this, she's this. So it's what you get behind my door in my house is what you see outside. So for me, that is where I see, as I was growing spiritually, I saw that God was removing just some of the things like being hot-tempered, quickly angered, and all of that, was replacing it with his patience. And so I have seen God work in me, through me, I guess, preparing me for the greater responsibility that I had ahead of me. So being a housewife is a tremendous responsibility as a leader of the home and every aspect of it.
Thank you very much. As you were speaking, I was just laughing because, I tell my children, there's no part 2 to me.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up, sleep, it's still the same part 1 you get. You catch me when I'm happy, it's part 1. That's so important that we keep our identity, that we don't confuse our friends, we don't confuse our children. And that's where integrity comes from. And when we talk about integrity, it doesn't really mean, like you said, that we're devoid of any sin or any wrongdoing. It just reiterates that we're humans, but at the better part of our time, we're more decent people. We have integrity to a certain level when we're not biased and when we're not sentimental about the decisions we're taking. So I've been a housewife. I've also been a professional. I've also built a business. I've also built a career. So when people talk from the different aspect of when we talk about spiritual purity, I can attest to it, because even before I started this program, I had to pray to God. I say, God, give me the wisdom, the discernment, and the utterance, so that whatever these panelists will say today will be a blessing. We redirect or we enhance the life of the women listening to this program. So a woman coming from a place of faith is very important. It's very crucial, not only for people who benefit from you, but for your own personal development. Like you said, temperament. But I must confess that my own temperament came with maturity. As much as I loved God and followed God, I still did not develop the accommodation for nonsense. Even as Christians, certain things come your way. It takes the grace of like Michelle Obama will say, go higher. Sometimes I go lower. Do you understand? So sometimes this purity and integrity can come with age, might come with your walk, your intense walk with God. And it doesn't mean I'm not a Christian when I go low or high. It just means that at that particular time, maybe I've lost control of my emotions. My conviction not aligned to the will of God. So thank you, Mrs. Machunga, for sharing with us. I think along the line, you will still have to talk about other things that comes with what we're saying. So thank you very much, as we welcome Mrs. Helen Chundusu to come and talk to us about the society working in government, where they are helping to share.
Congratulations.
So,
I told him you want to late.
can you unmute?
What?
Somebody is on. Who is on with that?
Uzo, I see Uzo.
Okay, Uzo, how are you? Okay.
I was also. Please, can you ask your question again?
Okay, I was just
I
welcoming
didn't
you.
really get you.
Since you are the one that
Okay,
works
okay.
government that represent our society. I want to ask
Okay.
about the spiritual purity and growth of a female leader in community and in nation. So you work with government, you interface with the people and the government in the provision and in making sure that government do meet the needs of the people as much as you can from that position. So the question will be, how can spiritually grounded women influence society without losing their voice or values? What role does spiritual purity play in community service, activism, or public leadership? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There was this preacher one day. He was preaching, and he said that some human beings have three lives.
Mm.
At home, you're known as a different person. At work, you're known as a different person.
Mm.
In church, you're known as a different person.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think that has always been, um, it's like a check for me.
Yeah.
How am I known? At home, in the
Please,
office?
can I interrupt a bit? You're upside down for us.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Did I touch? Sorry. 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 Okay.
I have to turn my neck.
So for me, in these three places, how do people see me? How do people perceive me? And then so it takes me back to Dr. Ulan's earlier comments about setting boundaries. As soon as I enter a place, I say it loudly that I am a born again Christian. I don't hide it. And whatever I do, that is always that's what guides my direct whatever decisions and whatever. Going back a little, I started work in the House of Assembly. And there you're working with politicians.
Yeah.
And that one is where your faith really comes to test, because you know how politics can be. You're always trying to, there's so much deceit in it because you're always trying to hide things, always trying to change things, always trying to, doctor a lot of things. But I remember telling my colleague one time, no, I will not put my hand on anything that I'll go back home and I will not sleep.
Mm.
I wasn't brought up like that. And I just kept on. Even my bosses knew me with that. And so, in fact, at some point in time, they will tease me, this one. But because I consistently kept to that, it saved me and a lot of them from so many problems. In fact, during that time, we were invited to EFCC so many times. We went to EFCC, we went to ICPC, and I always had my records. And they will go through it and they will go through it and say, Madam, just go, So for me, that saved me a lot and saved, in fact, the institution too. And even when I came to deal with staff too, I would tell them, no, I won't compromise. I won't let you do anything that, will make me, my just anything that will touch my faith. No, I won't like that. Now in the governor's office, well, because I handle the administration of the office there, but I also have a few instances where people will come. Okay, we need to do this. And then before the discussion goes on, they're already offering you a deal. Okay, no. So if we do this like this, you can get this. I say, no. I'm not like that. In fact, if you go that way, I won't even be a part of it. I'm doing my job. You don't need to offer me something before I do my job. No, I will not do that. So from the beginning, you let people know this is who you are. From the very beginning. And when they see that you consistently, stand on that, they will know that, okay, I know this one will not compromise and will not compromise. Not that those things stop, but even when they come, you're able to stand your ground and say, okay, no. Your superior officers too, when they get to know that, no, this one, when she's assigned a task, she will put her heart and her soul and her mind into it and ensure that it is done and it is done well. And I always tell them, I say, for me, that thank you, well done is all I need. And in the civil service, even the civil servants are not left out in all this kind of vices and all. But I always tell them, let your work speak for you. That is what is most important.
That's
not
intent.
that. Yes, so that's let your work always speak for you. It's not like when they say, okay, here's 500 naira, you need it to do this work, and already you're thinking of how you're going to pocket 300 naira and then do some very shabby work with 200 naira. At the end of the day, the work is not done well. And then it affects you and all that. For me, I tell them that a good name for me is better than anything else. And so that even when you leave that office, you're remembered for that.
Yeah.
And so, well, I've tried in even how I relate to staff. Like I said, wherever I've gone to, I've ensured that I've tried to somehow I find people drawing close to me. They like how I do this. They like how I handle this. I can be. Sometimes even me, I surprise myself. I can be very very firm and very harsh. I will speak, but then immediately I'm done. That's all. When I just tell you, no, you did wrong and I will not take it. After that, I'm okay with you, we just carry on work as. So for me, I think when you went from day one, you stand, you stand and you boldly, this is where I stand. This is where I'm coming from. Boundaries are set, yes. And people know that, no, this one won't compromise. And so it trickles down to every other thing you have to do. When there's a work that needs to be done, you're not compromising. Where it needs to go to, you ensure that it goes there. Whoever needs to do that job, you ensure that through supervision and all that, you ensure that that job is done too. So stand, remain remain on your stand and don't compromise in any way. I don't know.
Thank you very much. Ramatu was just saying, don't start what you can't finish. But I was just wondering, Donna said we need millions of you. God bless. So just a follow-up question. I know that we live in a society where, as a permanent secretary to the government, there are some societal expectation of you. You have to build a mansion, you must build this, you must have that, you must have that. And with this integrity and with this consistency in your character, not compromising your integrity to acquire public wealth, because that is what I'm going to call it. When you take government money that does not belong to you, it means you're acquiring public wealth. the
Yeah,
wealth that
yeah.
does not belong to you. So you're misusing your position and you're misusing the wealth of the people that has been entrusted in you. But so how do you manage the expectation after you've left government and you're not as rich as they expected you to be? So how do you manage that? Because this is the core of the integrity. Because
Yeah,
when you leave offices, I know what being a former somebody means. Once you leave that position, all the doors closes. So there's this mentality that before all the door closes, you would have established yourself so that when those doors close, you're standing. So I want you to talk about that before I bring back all the panelists.
Okay.
I will have an open conversation with the
Okay.
on the platform with us.
Okay. So for me, I think it has to do with my upbringing.
Mm,
Um, my parents brought me up and taught me that life is not about all that you amass, but about how you touch lives. My father would always say that God blesses you so that you can be a blessing to others.
mm,
In fact, my door in my phone, if you see the text messages, everybody is wanting this, is wanting that, is wanting this. The call, my home now, my children, anytime there's a knock on the door, they come and ask him. They ask him, "Mommy, are you expecting somebody?" So there's some people by the door. So it's that bad. But the thing is, where I can help, I help.
very good.
Where I cannot help, I tell you, I cannot help.
Mm,
I had my driver recently. I had to tell him to go because in fact, what he said was that government money, I'm doing government money like it is my money. Government money is meant to be spent. That since he has been with me for 3 years now, he has not completed his house. But for me, I said, no, I will not steal because my driver needs to finish his house. Even me, the Oga self, I don't have a house yet. So, but for me, like I said, for me, honestly, my good name is better than anything else. It's better than anything else. And somebody said, that me, I'm very simple, that I am too simple. But I tell them, I said, oh, you don't know that simplicity is everything. I can go anywhere. Where of course I won't dress shabbily, but I can wear my cheap wrapper and enter anywhere with my head high up. Because for me, it's all those kind of things. I see it as complexes, and I don't have that. Maybe because I'm a daughter of God. I don't see a lot of things as it doesn't bother me. It doesn't get to me. So I really don't care what the society thinks. Of course, because I am in this office, my life is better. That's the truth. And where my children are well taken care of, but I will do it in the limit of what comes to me, and I am contented with it. I will not steal public funds, not for anything. And I think for me, the work, I can stand and do that because my bosses too, because of the kind of bosses I have. They also demand accountability, transparency. And so because I work with people like that, I won't go low. I won't go lower than that too. So that has helped me, honestly. That has helped me. That has helped me a lot. I can help where I can, but I won't steal because I want to take myself to. In fact, I tell people, I say, if you know where I'm coming from, Now, Sev, I am suffering because now my life is not this is wahala, because I had a very good life growing up, but now, Sev, the wahala is so much. And so what is there that I have not seen? So for me, all those things don't trip me, honestly. They don't trip me. And I have shown that no, I am very, as it comes, the little that comes in, I'm contented with it. And I see a lot of blessings to that. I'd rather have those blessings that incur curses on myself. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Inspiring to hear a woman in position of power, not having a complex, dealing with.
And you're sorry, and somebody was teasing us the other day. He said, the governor has, his permanent secretary is a lady, the commissioner of finance is a lady, the accountant general is a lady. But so somebody there teased and said, that the governor said that women have some fear in them. Even if they're going to steal, they will not steal like the men will steal. So that's been a lighter note.
Few years ago, I would have agreed with you. Women have put their hands in the pie now. So
very few women.
Thank you.
That was the testimony of people in the community society where you're working. That is a great thing. That's what I always share with my children. I have to bring up 5 children in Europe. It wasn't easy. It's
not easy, yeah.
So I'm just going to share one of those things that society tried to pressurize you into. Many years now, we've not had a car. So anytime I come to Nigeria, either I'm hiring a car or somebody is giving us their car to use.
Yeah.
A lot of people have come to me, what are you people doing? Why can't you buy a car? This, that. And it just occurred to me, it doesn't make me small or big, whether I have it or I don't have it. It doesn't change my personality. You understand? When we get to the stage where we don't allow society to, if not so, me too, I would have gone and bought one Pathfinder and parked in front of my house that I will not use for 6 months or even 1 year before coming to Nigeria. So when we talk about integrity, integrity means to be real to yourself. Integrity is being able to resist the pressure from peers or subordinates or superiors to make you pray a life that is not sustainable. You understand? So, and if we're able to maintain our personal integrity, being consistent and being content with where we are, a lot of greed that tarnishes the integrity and decency of people will be reduced to a very large extent. Because what we see is a lot of greed, people wanting to feed generations that are yet unborn or yet to be born, and houses that they can only sleep in one corner of one room, one corner of one bed, and one corner of the whole 10 or 15 acres of the house that they have built. So if we can be consistent and be content with what we have, I think integrity and decency and purity in the place of work, at home and society will be of highest consideration to all the women and men that are in position of power. So now that the 3 panelists have spoken, I'm going to add all of them here, and I will open the floor to the participants if they have individual experiences or questions that have been lingering in their minds that they want to ask these participants. So the floor is open. I saw that we have Chundu, Goyo, Odessa, Donna, Ramatu, Sama, and we have a man here. We have to welcome the husband, the one and only husband of Mrs. Joy Machunga, who has taken time to join us here to support his wife and to support me because
and
he's my
support us too.
To support of us here. He's our grand patron in every. Want to use this opportunity to say thank you to Mr. Nuhu Machunga, and if you want to say one word, we really appreciate that. So the floor is open. Open mic before we continue. So, any question?
Mr. Machunga, say something, please.
Auntie Joy is missing
Please,
him.
you people should do that one in
Okay.
Don't
Good
mind
evening, ladies.
Don't mind Auntie Joy.
I am not good at operating this thing, so Moses had to help me. I just
Yeah, we
want
can hear you.
to encourage you
Mm,
for what you have done or what you are doing. May
yeah.
God keep all of you and give you wisdom so that you can
Amen.
impart experiences to your
Amen.
listeners.
Amen.
Amen.
Very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Professor is smiling.
Thank you. So who else want to share or ask a question? Yeah, is anybody's
Okay.
Yeah, is
anybody's hand? Yeah, I'm available.
Okay, Sama.
All right. Thank you. Good evening. Yep.
After Ali Sama, I just
After Ali Sama, I just
go ahead, Alice.
Go ahead, Alice. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Can you hear me? All right, thank you.
We can
So
hear
really, I
you.
want to first
We
of
can hear you.
okay, thank you. I want to appreciate Princess for this platform she created for all of us, and the speakers as well, Dr. Mrs. Ulan, Jatau, Joy Muchunga, and Helen Washik. Thank you so much. And honestly speaking, I've really learned a lot this evening from all of you. You know, I'm still a growing girl, a growing lady in my early 40s. So by the grace of God, I want to talk about setting boundaries, integrity, and I think some other thing like Mrs. Dr. Ulan rightly said, she made mention of setting boundaries. These things start from the home. We all have children. These things start from the home. We are all looking for a better society, a better community, a better world, and this thing starts from the home. And I must say that I'm privileged to have learned some things under Princess Ibrahim-Pam. At least I can tell a few things about her, the children as well, and so many other things. I want to talk about these setting boundaries. If we have our children, and we tell them this is what it is, even from what we do, these children copy from us. They learn by what they see physically. Of course, you don't expect that a father will be how do I put it, a bully, somebody that is careless, and you're expecting that what the boy would grow up to be will be something different from what the father has taught or instilled in him. It is never possible. So things like this make the world either good or bad. Now, talking about integrity, this also has to do with the background, of course, background and setting boundaries as well. Dr. Olan also talked about, background. Then Mrs. Helen Washik also talked. In fact, I really enjoyed your talk, Mrs. Helen. So many things she said. I was just picturing myself in all of those things and so on. I'm privileged to have worked. I'm now based in Lagos, formerly in Abuja, and I'm privileged to have worked in schools. I see the way children behave, from different backgrounds and all of that. This would I'll definitely tell you how these children live when they go
Yeah,
to
we're
their
brought
homes,
up.
seeing their parents and they are the way they are being
Mm.
brought up and so on. We have many of them, and of course, just as our mommy, Dr. Ulan, with the connection you have with your students as well over there.
Yeah.
Now, coming over to this, I think I have a testimony, and it's this. My boss was actually watching me. There was this period we needed some things. I wrote a list and I said, this is what we need. I was given the sum of money, can I even remember? And what I did, they gave me the actual amount. But I had to open up to my boss, the second in command, to say, I said, this is what I have done. I collected this money. When you go to maybe area 1 here in Abuja, in Use or Geriki, these things are very expensive. But when you go to the other side, they are not expensive. So all these things we have listed, let's get these items. We'll go over there, we get these items, and we even get more. So they gave us higher amount. When we went there, we got those things cheaper, and we even got many of those things that we never needed. I didn't know this woman has been observing me year in, year out. She say, Alice, do this for me, do this for me. I'll say, yes, ma, yes, ma, yes, ma. I will come, I will bring. If there's any change, sometimes I bring. And she's like, until she now told me one day that, that thing you did that day. I said, hey, so this man has been watching and so on. That was how I was also in a position where I'm supposed to get what we call ashebi materials for, staff. I was directed to do that. Somebody met me and he said, come, come, come. I know where they sell and cheap. At least we go toss a sweet we buy them, and we did this. I told him bluntly, I said, I will not do that. I will not do that. And even if I'm going to do it, Madam must know of it. Madam should know of it, that this is what you want to do. Another time came, and I actually worked with the diocese. It's a church setting. I wrote to them that this is what I want. But before they will release money, it's going to take long. And our Nigeria today, you don't expect that what you are pricing for 5 naira, when you go to the market, tomorrow you'll be getting it for 5 naira. So I decided to add money, depending on when if I'm to get it for 5 naira today, I will make it 10 naira. And I went to my madam, I told her, I said, ma, see what I have done. Because you don't expect me to say, okay, I need, for instance, 20 naira, and they will give me the whole 20 naira. When I now go back tomorrow, you don't expect me also to go back to them to say things have changed in the market. So we are talking about integrity here. This is what I actually did, madam. I added money in this. This one, I left it like that. She said, Alice, I think what you have done is good. And you know what? When they released the money going to the market, things have already gone high. And we're able to get some of those things. Change was still there. And I said, madam, this is it. Until tomorrow, she talks about it. I do all these things without knowing. These are some of the testimonies, because I know I have left there, but I have a very good testimony there. I have good things they talk about me there. And those around me, they know. They'll say, madam, please now this. See, let's call a spade a spade. There is time for everything. Yes, I know even if I send you, we go to the market together, I should be able to do 1 or 2 things for you, but not you compelling me to do what I know is wrong. Integrity. Thank you, Mas.
Thank you so much. My husband, that the best thing you can do to show integrity is not when people are watching you. It's almost second to nature. Don't think about it. You're not scheming for appearances. You're not scheming for affirmation. You're not scheming for somebody to praise you. It's just something that is second nature to you. You know what is right. You're consistent in knowing what is right and what is right. And speak. No, you're not selective in when you're speaking up and when you're not speaking up. Integrity comes in very minute, simple ways that forms your character. Thank you very much. So we're going to call on Dr. Sama Yahaya to share her thought with us today. Dr. Sama.
Yeah, good evening. I hope you don't mind if I don't go on video. If I don't go on video, yeah.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right. So thank you. It's been an interesting session. My question is for Ati Joy. So I listened, and the first thing that struck me was your statement of your position as a housewife. Because my mom was a full-time housewife, so it sort of struck with me. And I have quite a few close friends who are also housewives. But I found out that I have had to counsel them on 1 or 2 occasions because they felt they were not enough. They wondered what would have happened if they had pursued their professional career. So I have 2 questions for you. The first is, do you ever feel like that? And then the second question is, what is your advice to a woman who is, in midlife now, and looks back and wonders if I had taken the professional career route, how different my life would have been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Salma, for this very important question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so, being, you have to have satisfaction in what you do, whether as a housewife, whether as a career woman, whether as a teacher, whatever you do. And there has to, we've been talking, the word contentment has been coming out in almost everybody that has spoken, and be contented in what you do. For example, for me, I have a lot of joy just being in the house. When I was much younger, I thought maybe I should go back to school. But then I realized that when my children, if I'm not the one picking the children from school, but the moment they drive into the house and they see me, their faces just light up. It's like, oh, you are here. And so for me, that was just enough satisfaction. And I just said, if this is all I'm going to do all my life, I am happy to do that. Just because when they come in and the way they just light up when they see me or when I go to pick them. So just for me, it was a determination to be in the lives of my children, while they were growing up. Now that they've grown up, sometimes it crosses my mind like, maybe if I had, because I studied textile designing, and I'm like, maybe if I had, walked, I would have maybe opened my own textile factory now with the designs and all of that. But then when I think about the children and I look at them and I see how they have turned out and they are turning out, it just says to me that, Joy, this is where God wanted you to be, and you're at the right place, and I'm satisfied. Because most of the time when you're running the home, you are leading the home, you're training your children, taking care of everything, you really don't think about anything else. But once the children start growing up and they're on their own, the house begins to look empty. And then you begin to feel like, I should have done something with my life. But to those, I would just say, to those who are at this time of their lives and are feeling like they have not accomplished, if they can turn around and look at their home and look at their children, where God has taken their children to, the time that you spend praying for your children by name, even plus their friends and the children that you know, should bring you that joy, should bring you that satisfaction. And I'm not sure if it is ever too late to pick up where you left off. If you still have that desire, you still have that drive, you still have what you have, I would say go for it. Don't spend the time in a pity party. There's no time for it. If you are, if maybe all your life you've been wanting to work in a particular place or start a business, I would say go for it. If you feel like the world has left you behind, look for somebody that you can share, similar thought with, somebody that you can pray with. Anything I try to do, I do from the house so that it doesn't take me away from home. Because I like it too, that my husband, he knows that joy is there, no matter what. So I sell meat products. I know that whatever meat I'm doing is inside my house. Sometimes I have the desire, I'm like, oh, I should have had a huge abattoir by now and a big meat shop and all. And Dr. Ulan just teased me by sending me one article, and I'm bombarding her with questions because now I have a little bit of, time in my hands. So to these ladies, I want to say, well done for choosing your family above your career. And not to say that those who chose their careers are not good housewives, because there are people that God has given the ability to be able to do both side by side and be successful at it. And there are some who would, because there's also the danger of facing your career and neglecting your home. But if God gives you the ability to do both, I'll say kudos. But if you took that time, look and just say, thank you, Lord, for giving me that privilege, because your children will never forget it. That is one thing. Your children will never forget the sacrifices, so they know that, oh, it's not because mommy didn't go to school, but she chose to have this time with us. And I would say there's plenty, as long as God gives you life as God gives you strength, please go for your dreams and achieve it. And all the other women, we shall be there to cheer you on. So Salma, I want to say to your friends that not to be discouraged, but to put their heads up and put a plan, present it before the Lord, because what is your motive in the first place? Is it to be like everybody else? What is the motive of wanting to? So if you're beginning to get bored because, the children have grown, think about what you want to do and go for it. That's what I can say.
Thank
I hope
you.
I've answered that too.
Can I add something?
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
When you listen to, having listened to Auntie Joy and all that she has said, the biggest job on earth is being a mother, a housewife.
Yeah,
But
true.
The dissatisfaction comes from the society, belittling that job that you have done.
Right. Yeah.
So why do you all of a sudden feel that you're inadequate? It's because the society puts that pressure on you. Okay, now the children have gone. Then what? And I would go with what Auntie Joyce said. In fact, I'm looking forward to, even though I've been working, I chose my career so that I can be at home too with my children. I was supposed to be a banker. During holiday jobs, I used to do banking. But the moment I got married, I knew in my heart that I was going to bring up my children myself. Nobody was going to do it. I didn't even start having nannies till when my youngest was like 7 or 8. When I knew that I had poured into them to the point that I felt that, okay, I've done right by God and right by them. But even with my work and everything, I'm still looking forward to retiring into what I really want to do. So for those women that have paid the price, like she said, when you look back and you look at your trophies, which are these children, there's no way anything can replace the work that you have done. It's just society's demand on them that is playing all those things in their heads, and they're beginning to feel like they're less important. They're not. And this is the time now to go into what maybe a passion or something that they have always wanted to do, like she has said. So I think bring it before God, like she said, and then go for it.
Yeah.
And
thank you so much, Ulan.
Princess, I just want to add that, just about 2 weeks ago, I started thinking, you see a lot of people getting awards for this, for that. And I'm just thinking, maybe we should start giving awards to housewives who have spent their time, so that people can see that it's not because out of lack of doing anything, but it is a sacrifice, because if you put your life and your career and your education or whatever on hold, you are sacrificing everything for these children. So 2 weeks ago, I just started thinking, maybe I would need to talk to a couple of people and recognize wives, housewives who have really been there and have served well under God. Yeah.
You're giving a EPBWN a project to execute in John. So we'll be coming maybe next year to organize an award for
that would be fantastic.
Achievement for women at home who have achieved so much, have put their home to. Just to add to the question, Dr. Salma had asked, is that, look, for me, when I got married, and you all know that I was producing babies every year, as record has it, as evidence should. So, and I had a husband who was working in the bank. I've always been a career-minded, high-flying person. You can imagine. And I got married and I was getting to 24, 23 years old, and you can imagine the fire, the exuberance to want to be in a white-collar job, the banker, all these people, And I got married to my husband who was working at the bank. And then we were living in Lagos. If I tell you that in those days I used to cry and stand by the window because I had friends who were executives in the bank, and the official car will come and pick, particularly one that was my friend. I used to peep at the window when if you see her dressing up, oh man, you want to be in that office, skirt, a tie, gorgeous. And I'll stand by my mirror, I'll be by my window, and I'll be crying each morning. She's getting ready to go to work, And I breached the discussion with my husband. He said, look, you're having babies every year. I can't have a high-flying job and you have the same high-flying job. You have to stay home to take. Why am I telling this to you? So that when you go back to tell these women, tell them that they're not alone. Because sometimes they always feel that they're alone. A lot of these women out there, they've seen that they've achieved or they're achieving now, had to go through that period of being in the desert, feeling left behind, feeling off. It is good. It's a good feeling because you know what? It puts you on toes. It means that you're not complacent in your position. It means that there are options. But like Auntie Jo said, they have chosen their family as those options. So raising children is very important. I want to use this platform, please, to emphasize the godly virtue of the woman raising children.
Yep.
Career came afterwards when men were unable to manage homes financially. That's when women went into career, money seeking, position seeking. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can all be all of those things together. I've had the opportunity to be a mother. I've had the opportunity to be a mother, a wife. I've had the opportunity to be a career woman. I've had the opportunity to be a businesswoman. And nothing has changed me. Just that it has made me better. It knows what my priority is. All the things I wanted to do when I was having my children. I'm 58 today. I've gone back to school to do my master's. I'll go and do my PhD. So when the Bible says there is time for everything, there actually is. So I want you to go back to those women and tell them, it's the time for you to sow. Don't give up. I never gave up on my dream. I never gave up on the dream of going back to school. After raising 5 wonderful children, all graduates, I am paying attention to myself. And as Joy said, once there is life, there's nothing that is too late.
That can be done.
Societal value. It's not, a woman who gives birth when she is 20 and a woman who gives birth when she's 54, they are all mothers. Nobody is going to ask, are you a mother? Are you not a mother?
At what age did you have
what age or at what not age did you give birth? The name mother has been attributed to her. So when younger women come to us that are in distress because of societal pressure, not being enough, tell them they are more enough than those women who are making them feel not enough. Because they have chosen family. Families are breaking up. Children are being brought up by nannies and house help. Children are being abused and exposed to a lot of things that it is later in the years of these children that the mothers and fathers will come back. Oh, we did not know. This one. You see a lot of parents now running helter-skelter, visiting children in prisons, in rehab, in rehab. They have sacrificed that first 10 years or 15 years of their lives bringing up themselves. So please, let me say to them that we recognize them. Their effort is not in vain. And as they take care of these children, we pray that those children will grow up to be grateful, appreciative of the sacrifices that these women have made, so that women can see the benefit in taking care of their children.
Amen. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
women, we are the source of life. Women were the source of life and society. So please, never you feel not enough. You are enough.
More than enough, even.
I think that the life of a woman is that of sacrifice. And I'll come back, I'll still go back to it's a pressure from society. It is not, and until you allow that pressure, then it has nothing on you. I've had to take some decisions in my life that have cost me, like my PhD. at a point I had to put it aside because it was conflicted with my responsibility as a mother and as a wife. I had no scholarship to go anywhere in the world to do my PhD, but I chose to remain because I felt my children needed me. I've been called all sorts of names, but today, like Princess said, I have the PhD and nothing has changed.
Yeah.
And I have my children, and they had me when they needed me.
Yes. That is most important.
The society tried to really, because I should be a full professor by now. My colleagues they're full professors. But people would ask me, and I would tell the younger women, especially because a lot of young women are conflicted right now.
Yeah.
Is it to pursue career or to pursue family? And because the society says to them that they are not ambitious or they are not, why are they allowing home to keep them down? And so they're conflicted. And I find those ladies in the salon and we begin a conversation. Some of them have become my daughters. And I tell them, I say, at every given point in time, weigh it.
Yeah.
Look at it. What is going to suffer? Because at every given point in time, something suffers. So what would you rather suffer? And I said to myself, it was a conscious thing I did. I prayed about it. I really prayed about it. I made efforts to see this and this. And it kept coming back to stay. And I stayed. At one point, it was like it was going to make me go crazy. I put it aside. Because at the end of the day, what is a PhD to me if my boys
home is scattered
and everything is just, I'll be miserable and then what?
Yeah.
So the good thing is that we're having these conversations. I always say, let's have the conversations. Earlier today, I was in a conversation with a young lady who had a child out of marriage and all that and career and all that. Let's have these conversations.
Yeah,
the more we have the conversations, the more encouraged people are. When we share your story, like I shared stories with young girls, you did this for your, I said, yes, and I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
So when people do like someone said, when they know that they're not alone in this, and it's something to be celebrated,
yes,
then we'll have less and less people feeling guilty that they stayed back at home.
Yeah. Okay, let me just quickly this is just a note, I serve with Queens, Christian Women for Excellence and Empowerment in Nigerian Society. I am the Secretary General. And when we went on a courtesy visit, they were introducing everybody, we were all seated, they were introducing Queens. So they were like, oh, this is Dr. This, Dr. What, Dr. Then it got to me. And I proudly got up and said, I am Joy Machunga. You have to know who you are. I do not have the title of doctor, but it does not change who I am and what God has deposited in me. So no apologies, no apologies. We don't all have to be doctors. We don't all have to be that kind of a thing. So it is who you are. It's what is most important and who you are in Christ and who he is in your life and who he has made you to be. So if you're in that place and you're not wondering, talk with God, let him help you to understand at that time where he wants you to be. And if you have peace where he wants you to be, you'll be happy. You don't have to impress anybody and you don't have to be like anybody. But when you turn and look at your jewels, what can you do just to put your hands up and say, Lord, I thank you? That is the most important thing. Somebody asked me that if God is going to bring me back again, what would you choose? I said, I'm going to choose exactly this life because I've enjoyed every bit of it. I'm going to choose it. Maybe next time, maybe in the new world, I'll choose this life and then become maybe a more serious businesswoman. That kind of thing. But
finally,
it's just to know who we are and gradually.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Even today, I talked about you, Auntie Joy.
Oh.
Yeah.
About sewing. Yeah, I think we'll talk about this after.
Yeah. About what? Sewing?
Tailoring.
Oh.
I think like we all said, it's just the society. The society doesn't make it any easy for us, And then, let me just share something very silly, I would say. For me, I think because of the nature of my job, sometimes I'm walking and I'm having to get dressed. In fact, I remember one day I was under a lot of pressure because I had jerry curls. So because there was like fire on the mountain, I had to hurry out. I forgot to even put on my activator and comb my hair. And I went to the office like that. It was much later. One of my staff looked at me and said, Ma, your hair, is there something wrong with it today? I said, no. She said, Kai. And I went and looked at the mirror and I saw that I had not even combed the hair. And I laughed. There are days I will forget to wear the other earring and go to the office. And so now I don't even have time to even put powder. I don't even wear makeup to the office. I just go with my bare face. And for me, it didn't make me feel any less. It didn't feel, I was okay with it. Apparently, some people were there feeling somehow on my behalf. She's the permanent secretary. Even powder, she will not wear. She's just there looking. For me, I'm just there feeling very, very, very. Okay. I will enter anywhere, talk to anybody, and don't matter. And somehow the gist now came back to me. The lady that came and was telling me and said, that some ladies sat and were talking about me, that me, see my position, but even powder, I will not even wear. I'll just come to the office looking like one. And then that lady, okay, we had dinner. We had a state banquet. And when she came and met me, she came with her small makeup bag and said, Ma, please put whether I should put some powder and some lip gloss. I said, why? She said, visitors are coming. I said, exactly. So I said, so the visitors, okay, I'm not looking. I said, no, I will talk to the visitors the way I am looking. I don't think I am. And so she came back and told me that actually, that some people sat and were talking about me and said me I don't like. I said, because they have spoken, said, I will not wear. It doesn't reduce the fact that I am the permanent secretary. So now, sir, a lot of ladies the ladies around me don't even wear makeup too. They all come without makeup. They say, see what I have done to them. I said, it doesn't add. It does not add or remove anything. So, we have so many complexes and we just let it eat us away, and they don't matter. Those things don't matter. As long as I am neat and I am not smelling of sweat, my dress is not dirty, I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I think I am okay. And honestly, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
I think people are now even, one of the men there just said, no, that he even likes me without makeup. That it's people, you know what he said? It's people that have something to hide that wear makeup.
No.
So, we just worry ourselves over, and because we let the society, dictate, and
yes.
So God just help us, to just find our fulfillment in ourselves, and
exactly. I was just going to say that
without needing anything.
There are preferences and there are consistency. Be comfortable with your preferences. Yeah. Don't be like a yo-yo that is moving from the extreme. Into our character and integrity. You see, integrity is so consistent that, like I said,
Ramatu's hand is up.
Oh, yeah, Ramatu's hand is up. So I will be calling on Ramatu to please hear her views. Ramatu, please open the mic, and if you can put on
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I mean, it's been a very interesting conversation. I just wanted to add that I just put the blame on patriarchy. Patriarchy has for long put women to fight against each other. We're always having situations where women that like makeup are fighting against those that don't like makeup. Women that work are fighting against those that don't work.
home.
Women that have children are fighting against those that have children. Those that are married are fighting those that don't have, that are not married. So at every point in time, patriarchy wants us to be fighting each other because they realize the power of a woman. If we are united, we can deal with them, we can take over. So in order to break the ranks, they keep us fighting each other so they can continue deceiving us and cheating us, in societies. But it's really good for us to have these kind of conversations. I wish there were maybe younger women also, so they can learn from, everyone's experience, that it doesn't really matter about competing against yourself or other people. You just need to be yourself, value yourself, know your worth, create your own path, and also hold on to your values, your beliefs, and generally try and be the best that you can be. Yeah. So that's just my contribution. Thank you so much, everyone. I've really learned a lot.
Thank you very much.
Everything we've just said here just goes back to character and integrity. And especially for us women who are in position of power, or we have platforms where women listen to us, we have to put boundaries against pressure from society. Most times when men don't like what I'm saying, they say I'm a feminist. And I keep telling them, I'm not a feminist.
You're not.
I'm not a feminist. I'm a godly woman. I'm a woman who is right and what is wrong. When you see when society start labeling you, calling you names, that they don't like the voice they are hearing. They are either a subdued voice or a voice that is intimidated, a voice that lacks knowledge. So, like Mrs. Ramatu said, we should not be in a position where we're comparing ourselves to others. We should be in a position where we're harnessing the quality, the talent, and the skills that we all bring together as women. So when women come together, they say we move mountains. There is a ripple that changes society. So, and that is why on my platform, our key core value is capacity building. When every woman's capacity is built up to where she is confident emotionally, where she's mentally secured, and where she's physically in good shape, then the pressures don't matter. You become the best version of yourself in society. You're authentic to you and to you alone. And for those of us who speak for so many women in vulnerable situation, you see that we change our voice to portray those people. We don't speak on the authentic voice of where we are, because where I have grown to be, a lot of women have not still gone there. So if I speak, I might be speaking from a place of achievement, while a lot of women are looking for the process to achieve. So when we have platform to speak for women, we must speak as if we are them.
That's
We
right.
must represent their needs. Represent the demographic of those women. When I talk about poverty alleviation, I get frustrated, because this poverty alleviation ends with the rich people still in the banks, because the criteria and things that the poor woman needs to access this fund is not available for them. But you will hear all the international banks saying that their core value is to eradicate poverty. How do you eradicate poverty when you're not speaking the language of the poor?
Exactly.
When you've not things to elevate the poor. So as women, we must always put ourselves in position where we speak for the vulnerable women. We should not speak from the position of power. We should not speak from the position of privilege. We should not speak from position as a leader. We must always speak from humanity. What is the right thing? What is the moral and spiritual position a woman should be in as a leader, as a mother, as a wife, as a professional, as a businesswoman? Before we start talking about uneven skills that business women use, just like Mrs. Helen Chundusu has said. Donnie Kelly Briggs' hands is up, so we'll give her the floor to share her views or to ask the question. Go ahead, Donnie.
Okay, thank you very much, Princess, for inviting me, and ladies, well spoken. I did really enjoy everything that you've said. I have a question. I think it's a question. I recently lost a dear friend, and she was like the glue of the family. And she organized trips. She was a teacher and also a family therapist. And she's very full of wisdom. She just celebrated her 60th birthday last year and passed away undergoing chemotherapy. But my question, her husband and her kids, they're like fish out of water. And my question is, how does a woman who is the glue of the family prepare her family, her children, her husband for periods like this when she's no longer there? Because the children, there's discord and so I think it was heavy on my heart to ask this question.
Thank you. I will answer this question. Donna, thank you for asking this very relevant question. I want to say, when we talk about death and bereavement, is a really mundane topic. I've had situations where I talk to loved ones about what I would want when I'm gone. And they say, no, you will live forever. No, this is not the right time. No, I fear. I want to use this platform. Thank you, Donna, for please, women. As I speak with you now, I can tell you authoritatively that people who are very close to me know what they will do when I'm not alive. My sons know what to do when I'm not alive. My daughters know exactly what to do when I'm not alive. As mundane as it sounds, we're not here to live forever. We're aging gracefully.
That's right.
It's always a shame when I see a woman dying and her privacy is violated because she has not prepared her home to cover her nakedness. So women that are on this platform, as young as my children were from the age of 10, if I'm not exaggerating, I've always told them what I wanted when I die, what they should, the kind of burial I want, where I want to be buried, how my kids should be shared. I share with them now that they are older, all my shares, all my properties, all my land. The other day I was talking to my first son. I say, I want to set a day aside where I will hand over to you, make you signatory to all what I have, just in case of scarcity. Please do it. For those of you that you're in Nigeria, there is a form you should fill if you have account with any bank in Nigeria that gives your children, pick any of your children, is either called NPD, where when you die, they don't need death certificate to have access to your account. A lot of children get stranded when their parents die. They are not financially standing. Money is locked up in their account. Before you know, relatives will start coming. Before you know, families that they've not declared start coming, and it becomes a mess. So I'm using this platform today on the question that Donnie has raised. Please tell your children they're no longer children. Tell them exactly what what you want. I tell from my experience, I tell my daughters, my sons and my children, when I die, if I have 10 jewelry, you divide that 10 jewelry into 5. Apart from the ones I will give you when I'm alive, anything I own, divided into 5. Those boys are also my children. Their wives are entitled to what belongs to me because they are by the virtue of them marrying my son.
Amen.
These things, we take them for granted.
Amen.
My sons, whatever I have that your sisters or anybody gives to you when I pass on is for your wife. Your wife has an entitlement to a part of me because she's married to you.
That's right.
Because there are families who will say, oh, it's only daughters that share. No. They should share my, so that my son's wife and my grandchildren from those women will have access to part of me. Secondly, tell the children where you want to be buried, how you want to be. It is not mundane, because that is when your children are not prepared. Outsider will fix the date of your burial. Outsiders will be looking for aunties and uncles that were not part of your life when you were alive and be seeking for advice.
Even within the family, even the father and the children.
So have a verbal testament, which I do with my all the time. As situations are changing, I'm changing my testament to them. I told them how I want to be buried, where I'm in agreement with my husband, how I want everything that belongs to me. If my husband goes before me, he has made provisions for all of us, written down. If I go before him, I have made provisions so that he, my husband, knows what is available and what is not available. For I have grown up children. So if you're afraid that when you die, your husband will marry another wife, you don't want to entrust to him, at least entrust to your children so that they can guide him.
Make him marry you.
What? We're all a very crucial point. So I rest my case.
Okay, can I just quickly say something?
I wanted to also add that I asked the children, I said, did your mother say anything? And she's a very organized, very resourceful, but she was not, she wanted to be well. And so I asked them, I said, did your mother discuss anything with you guys? They said no. They tried even to raise the topic, and she would say she did not want to talk about it.
Didn't want to die.
So because the last time I saw her, she says, Donna, all I want to do is just get well. And even her husband said when the last episode that she gave up, she kept telling him, I'm not gonna die, I'm not gonna die, I'm not gonna die. And so so it's a hard. Princess, thank you so much. You, my daughter, I have one daughter. She's been, Mom, we need to do A, B, C, D, E. Mom, we need to do that. And I'll take her up on it because it's very, very important. And thank you, Princess. Do you have any son? Because you sound like that perfect mother-in-law. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I have 3 son-in-laws that I also tell them exactly what their roles should be when I pass. I have discussion with them what their role should be, because they are Americans. I teach them the Nigerian culture, their expectations, what I expect of them. Some of they've started eating Nigerian food. They've started greeting us the way that is expected. It's like, we must teach and must live instruction. Teach and we must live. So it's very important. I see 2 hands up. I see Sama has raised her hand again, and then Donna. Is your hand still up? Or
it's still up because right now we're burying her this weekend, and the children don't want to do service of songs. Unfortunately, their family, they don't really interact with the community, so it's just the family. So they don't want service of songs. They don't want, the dad said, okay, he has accepted where he's burying her in expensive real estate. And so there's disagreement even between the father and the 2 children. And so there's some confusion. He wants what he wants, they want what they want. And they're young, they're just in their 20s.
Those are the very difficult.
But that's I just needed to add that. So
no.
So Don, I just want to say sorry for your loss, for your friend's loss. It's hard, but this thing about death is very African. It's like when you plan for it, it's like, oh, you're saying I'm gonna die. But that it's not true, because one of the things I heard you say is that she was an organizer. She was the one who planned everything. But in that planning, she didn't plan with her children in it. She was
No.
the, that kind of, so, but I just see, do it with your children. Let them know how you think, how you do things and all of that and all of that. And
Yes.
I do not know their spiritual state, because when there's Christ in the center, then there's less confusion, because he will direct, he will lead, he will grant comfort, So the
Yes.
issue of service of songs is really not, it's not cast on
Not
stone
so
that
much.
there must be a service of song. It's not everybody that, chooses it. So if they just want to go for service, they should just go and bury her. But then that they are not something with the community. That is, we cannot live in silos. We need community.
Exactly.
No
Exactly.
matter what you have achieved in life, you need community. You cannot just be by yourself, because it's at times like this that community comes around you to comfort you, to just be around you,
Yeah.
So I pray that the Lord will use you to speak
Yes.
peace to this family, to the father and to
Amen.
the children, and
Amen.
just encourage them. And if they do not know Christ, I pray that God will use this situation to bring them to a place where they can call him Father, and he will guide them, and that the father and the children, that relation, God will bind them together, because now they don't have community, but they have each other, so
Yes,
that
that's right.
this funeral will not separate them, but that
Amen.
instead will bring them closer. So sorry
Amen.
for that loss.
Amen. They're a Christian family, but
I would like to call on
you know the
Sama.
strength, of your strength in hot water, as they say.
Yeah.
But thank you,
Yeah.
ladies.
May God
Thank you
help
so
them.
much.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
next time I'll show my face. I'm not in a place
That
where
would
I
be
can really show
appreciated.
my face. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Sama, you want to add to this?
Yes, I just wanted to add to this the issue of death. My own perspective, I believe, I don't know everybody on the panel, but I know relatively I'm a much younger mom than most of you on the panel, if not all of you. But in my experience, we have to be open to our children, because as leaders of the home, especially for those of us that also work, you find out that you take up so much responsibility. Children don't see the human side of you. I remember the first time my children saw me break down and cry, and I could see shock. I said, yes, I too cry. I
Yeah.
too hurt. Do you understand? I too, I get confused. I am vulnerable. And it is not easy, but we need to show that side of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So in a situation, it is difficult to stare death in the face. And now I'm speaking as a doctor. I've held people's hands as they die. We focus a lot on burial as Africans, but we have to look beyond our burial. We have to be realistic to our family situation. As mothers, we know our children. You know the child that is a little bit of a crook. You know the child that is straightforward. So there are certain things you will entrust to certain children at certain times. It's not a case of favoritism. It is a case of, I know this child has the strength to carry this load. So you share out the emotional responsibility to the children. There are some children that you say, John, I want you to take care of Mary when I'm not here. I want you to listen to Mary. I want you to be there. Do you understand? So these are things that we'll do. Yes, we plan for the burial. There are children that you say, I want you to stand by your father in case I'm weak. Even if you don't say in case I die, in case I'm weak. Do you understand? This is where I shop. Let us open up and be vulnerable to these children. And the sensible children that we've brought up will not look at us less for it. In fact, I believe they'll respect us more. Do you understand? I have times my children walk up to me and say, Mommy, what's wrong? I see you are not okay. And then I can hold their hand and say, let's just pray. Or sometimes I share, I say, oh, I had a bad day at work, or this happened. Or there are times I've told my children, I said, I was in traffic and I told someone off, and I'm embarrassed that I fell. And I don't like the way I feel. I can't go back and redo it. And my son was looking at me like, I said, yes, my actions embarrassed me, because at my level, I shouldn't have spoken like that, but I did. So the point I'm making is, open up to our children, if not all of them, at least some of them.
Yeah.
Show them that we are human too, and we also hurt. And then plan. In every good business, there is a succession plan. So in the family, there should be a succession plan. You cannot set up such a good home and watch it collapse. If you look at a lot of families, once the mother dies, the family scatters, Christian or not Christian, because the mother was the glue. So we need to change that narrative. We need to now start working on a succession plan. How are they going to cope when I'm not here? You know, what, and it's unique to each person's family. I mean, as the princess said, we cannot live forever. That's the truth. We hope to live for long, but we cannot live forever. And I think the most painful thing, I don't know how it is in heaven, is to look back and see that all those beautiful foundations we laid are scattered. Because nobody can step up and stand in our place.
Jesus. Yes.
So I think that is something that we need to think about and we need to work on, and we need not to be afraid to stare death in the face. What's the point of being a Christian if you are not going to go to heaven and there is no route to go to heaven without dying? So I mean, it's sad what you've shared, but it is too common, unfortunately. It is too common.
Thank you so much, ladies. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, any other question in addition to what we've shared today? Today, our topic was spiritual purity in homes, place of work, and society. How does it build integrity, character, and decency, especially in women in the place of power? I see Ibrahim-Pam also raised her hand, so we give you the floor, Ibrahim-Pam, to speak. Please unmute yourself. Ibrahim-Pam, you're free to speak. Unmute yourself. Where's Ibrahim-Pam? Unmute. Should I give you permission to unmute? Okay, here. Please unmute yourself.
All
okay,
right.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I've enjoyed listening to everyone speak and the questions, the reactions. And I'll just like to add about the last question that, is it Donna?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been a housewife, like a doctor, but at home with in the UK with brought up 4 children, and when I grew up with a mom who was a homemaker, and I remember how I look at her and I say to myself, God, I will never be, like my mom, stay at home. My dad will come home, she will do, I just looked at myself as a career person. But when I moved here, it wasn't a choice, but the situation, I realized I was exactly my mother, because I could not imagine leaving my children with childminders and this, or taking them to nursery. And eventually I started to enjoy it. And now that they've left home, I wish I had more kids, but I'm believing and trusting God that I'll soon have grandchildren.
Amen.
But in the years of having them at home, in fact, last week my oldest was saying that they were talking about what kind of mother they have. That I'm a naked mother or whatever. I'm like, what is that? Like, when I've come out of the bathroom and I'm naked and they come in, I don't sort of cover. Even if my son, I've got one son, I wouldn't cover, because I'll say to them, look, this is me. I want you all to be free, with me, and for us to be able to, discuss whatever it is. And I in terms of the lady that you were saying, your friend that's deceased, that she was an organizer, but we need to be as open as possible with our children, especially because they are part of us, I mean, a lot of us are older now, our kids are, but for the younger generation, and even for my children, I've told them that when you're bringing up children, if they want to help you with cleaning, because I did it, I'll say, no, stop it. You're going to, leave it. You're going to make it worse. I told them, leave them. Let them learn. That is the only way your child will learn from 1 year, from months. If they're copying what you're doing, as long as you're doing the right thing, they're seeing the right things, not that you're swearing or, doing, things that you don't want them, showing them characters that you don't want them to become later. They will learn. But when you stop them from doing or sharing, you're not sharing with them, later on, there will be conflict. It will be difficult for them, for you to, you cannot expect them to do what they have not been, been brought up, or learned from childhood. So I think, like most of the ladies have said, we need to be open, discuss, and say things, even in jokes, that when I die, this is it. Look, this is it. Just say it, because a lot of families, we see a lot of conflicts because they do not know what this child wants, this, or the father wants that, or there's conflict. But if we open our mouths to our husbands and the children, this is what we want. Because death, like Selma said, death, it has, it will happen. All of us, no matter how strong, no matter how beautiful, no matter how educated, we will end up in the same, we're all, we're all waiting for our own dates. So, thank you for, a lot of the things that I've heard today, and thank God I logged on quite early, not on time, but I've really enjoyed, the conversations, and I pray that God will give us wisdom and courage and discernment in all that we do, as career women, as housewives, as whatever. And it's never too late to start anything. Yeah, then if you have a passion, it's never late to start. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Janet Pam. Thank you so much for joining. I just want to share one experience concerning death. As you all know, I acquired this title princess very late in my life. And one is to honor my mom, who was a princess of Ile-Ife from the royal family. But growing up, we never knew our mother was a princess because of her character, because of the way she integrated into my father's community, a Yoruba princess who married an Igbo man from River State. And so I remember each time I had conversation with my mom about death, she told us exactly what she wanted to do, the names of her friends, how she wanted her things to be distributed, what her hobbies were, her favorite song. It was that deep. But there was something she said, by the way, that didn't make sense to me at that time. And thank God that she said it. She said when she died, she wants to be buried next to my father. And so came 2015 when she died. That's when we know the gravity of her being a princess. So when we informed the royal families in Ile-Ife, we were requested to bring her body back to Ile-Ife. We almost fainted. We all started crying. The princesses don't lay to rest outside the palace. We panicked. And then we started searching. And so when the elders of the palace met, they asked one very simple question. That when she was alive, did she verbally or did she write anything stating otherwise? And I remembered, I said yes, that she has always requested that she should be buried beside our father. That was how our mother's body was released to us. And today she's resting beside her husband in Obagi, in Port Harcourt. So there are things that are so prominent in our lives that we overlook. If my mother had not said that in passing to me, and I remembered, As we're speaking now, my mother's body would have been lying in the palace there. And you can imagine how difficult it would have been for us, the children, because we lost our father before she died. So it's very important. We should keep sentiments aside. We should keep biases aside. We should do right by our children and by our husband. Somehow we all assume that the men will die before us. It's not always like that. Sometimes we go before the men. Have you prepared your husband for eventuality so that your husband will not be fluttering around, making other people take decisions for him? I've instructed my first son, who is 26 years old. I said, when I die, the decision lies with you. The date, where, how I have to be buried. You don't need to ask permission from anybody. You, as my first son, takes the decision on my behalf. So these are things, as mundane and as emotional as it sounds, must be spoken, even if you don't write it down. And it must not be spoken in secret. The other siblings must know that you have handed authority to a particular child for particular things. So may God help us.
Amen.
In this issue that
Amen. Amen.
So, is there any other question or contribution before we round up this wonderful, exciting session? The session is on purity and integrity as women. Okay, Chuni. Yes, Chuni, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
I just thought to say something and just thank all the speakers and thank you, Princess Kego, for this forum. And I've been so blessed with all that has been said. I've been listening keenly. In fact, I'm somewhere where I have guests. I just excused myself because the noise was too much. I said, let me get to the bedroom. I want to finish listening to this talk and these discussions because they were getting more and more interesting. Yeah, we thank God that we are all women and we're special. God has made us in this way. And there's so much that we know and so much that God has put in us that he did not put in the men. At the end of it, when you look at it, actually, yes, they're the heads of the family, but at the end of it, the power is in the hand of the woman. So it depends on how you steer the boat. So by the grace of God, I believe that we have all learned, and these topics are quite interesting. Princess, I would want you to, speak more about some things that are so dear to people, but then they don't like to talk about it, especially this death issue and all of that. And at the end of the day, yes, we need to know our self-worth. We need to know that we are special. We need to know that we are God's handmaid. And once we walk with the Lord, there's nothing that is impossible. Whether you are a career woman or you are a homemaker, God has something for everyone. And we must never look down on what we already have. But let us walk with that, and by the grace of God, we'll be fulfilled in our lives before we finally leave this side of earth. It is when we don't do what we ought to do, then that we don't get the fulfillment. And as long as we're alive, let's move on and do what we ought to do, because when we now are at that older age, when you hear some people complaining, especially the older people, there's that frustration that comes in, is because they were not fulfilled. They did not do what they ought to do. So let us, at our own age, begin to do what we ought to do, so that when we get to that older age, we wouldn't feel not fulfilled. And then there's confusion, there is frustration, and all of that. God is always there with us, and he will walk with us every step of the way. Thank you so much to all the speakers. The Lord bless us all and keep us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm taking note of what you said. By August or September, I'll bring a panel of specialists that will talk about grief and grieving and a will and how to prepare for our exit, which is mandatory for each one of us. We have to exit. So I'll notice I've given 2 months for everybody to prepare their minds, come with questions, come with questions, and come with myths that will be addressed during that session in September, October. I need time to seek for people who talk to us about grief. Yes, Marta Primpo from Italy, my partner, my collaborator, thank you for spending your time with us today. Please, the floor is open for you to speak.
Oh, thank you so much. Good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
And I'm glad. I'm so glad. Please, do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, okay. God bless.
Yes.
God bless you so much, Princess. God bless you so much, Princess. Yes, God bless you. So because I'm really excited and I'm really blessed to be part of you today, because what you are teaching is very, 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 very important, especially the bereaved something. When somebody dies, it's very important because last 2 years, one of our Aglo members, she was 59, she had cancer. And when 2 weeks for her to die, the doctor told her that you can't live, you will die. Herself and the daughter and one of the daughters and a friend, they called and they told them. And when she came home, I asked her, so what do you do now? Are you going to tell your children what to do? Oh, I'm believing God that nothing will happen. This is what she was saying. I'm believing God, nothing will happen. I don't want to. You see, this is real African. I'm believing God. She's here. She's just saying here, Princess, she knows you very well. You know her, but you've forgotten her.
Yeah.
She said, I'm believing God, nothing will happen. And even if you say, I said, say something to your children. I said, no. And she died before. So when the thing happened, 2 weeks, the day the doctor told her, that's the day she died. Exactly, in 2 weeks. And when she died, even the children, I have to call them and tell them that they say your mother will die on Tuesday, this date. So what you do is ask her bank account, ask her number. If you don't have it, ask her number. So that within 24 hours, you have to take all her money out. If not, so they'll block her account. Then the other daughter say, is it true, auntie? I say, yes, it's true. If you don't do it, they'll block it. But the elder daughter did that. She went to ask her, because they knew only her deputy account. They didn't know where real her money is. So thank God that she could tell them at that time that this is where my account number is. What do you want from them? Mommy, we want to buy something for you. Because she doesn't want to accept that she's dying. So they took it, and that day they took that Tuesday morning, they took everything out of it. Within 1 hour, she's dead.
Wow.
And I told them that after that, when they announce it, they announce it on the computer and all the banks know. So they blocked everything. They say, Auntie, it's true, they've blocked everything. I said, I told you. And apart from that, she bought 5 plots of land through a man in Ghana and a pastor. And she didn't tell the children. It's a friend she told. And when she died, the friend came to tell me, the children, do they know that their mother bought 5 plots of land through this pastor? I said, I don't know unless I ask them. So when I asked, they said, we don't know anything about our mother. She didn't tell us anything because she didn't believe that she would die. And she's a pastor's wife. Who doesn't believe that she will die and go to heaven one day? And even they've told you, your situation have told you that this is going to happen. And so we have to, after the burial, we have to call this pastor, tell him the lady the lady had some lands with you, and the children now know through a friend. Yes, it's true. And my brother is taking care of that land for them. Then I said, do you know what? These children want the papers of the land, and they need the land. They want to sell it and take the money, because the small one was just 21 years. She born 4 children, 3 girls, 1 boy. And they want do you know, this pastor has changed his number. We can't get him again. We don't even know where he lives. He has changed his number. This is a pastor.
Wow.
He has changed his number entirely. And there are many little she built a house in Ghana too, and the children even don't know where the documents of the house.
Wow.
They know he has built a house. He took 2 of them there, the grown-ups, 2 of them there to see the place. Now, where is the document? Some people say the brother has taken it. Some say this have taken it. So the house too. You see, so it's very important we learn this as women. Princess, bring it out. We learn this as women. It's very important. So that we put everything right before we die. We put everything, because nobody, Abraham is dead, Sarah, Mary, they're all gone. We will go as well. So why are we holding it up that we are not going? We will go. So we put everything right, so that after our deaths, do you know, this lady died, and thank God that the children are close to us. This lady died, and this same lady I'm talking about, and the family that she has created here in Italy came around that. In the morning, early in the morning, they came to the children. Your mother is our family member. So we are coming to tell you the day we want her to be buried, the time and everything. Then the daughter, the firstborn, she is 30, she was then 32 years. She died 2 years ago. So she said, we don't know you. When my mother was alive, we never saw you in this house. So we don't know you. You can't tell us when to bury our mother. We are burying her in a week's time. You are telling us 1 month's time, and you want us to do that, go and hire a place, waste all that money. No, we are not going to do that. We are burying her in a week's time. We are going to do this, we are going to do that. And they were saying, you don't respect. You are from he said, no. We are not going to do that. So when you were talking, you were saying something very, very sensible, something very legible, that everybody have to know, that you have to tell them what you want, when you want them to bury you, where you want to bury you. The dress, my mother even told us, when she is dead, we should we the children, we should all put on white, plain white. The men should put on suits, and the ladies should put on skirt and tops, white. Nobody should put on anything black. She even told us what to wear. These are some things that we have to let our children, very important.
Yeah.
Where are we heading towards to heaven? So we have to leave legacy. Yes, we have to leave legacy. And are we doing that? We are not doing that. We are not doing it.
Thank you so much. So I will organize this session for grief and bereavement and legacy will. How a woman can leave a will without incurring costs of a lawyer or exposing your wishes. I have a portfolio where I have 2 wills I've written. One is called a testament, the traditions I want my children to keep for generation. The second is how I want the earthly things we've acquired to be distributed, those personal things that cannot be shared. We have also taken a position that for each child while we're alive, we will establish, because we're not leaving any houses or any cars for anybody. While we are alive, we're going to establish each of our children to stand on their own feet so that they can generate their own wealth for themselves. So thank you so much, Madam Martha, for joining us and your contributions. So if we don't have any more question or contribution, I would like to bring this special session to an end. Is there anybody that wants to say anything, any question before I say my closing remarks?
My phone is going down, so I just want to quickly say, let's always remember, it is not by might, it is not by power, but it is all by the grace of God Almighty. So all we do, all that we think, we should all lay it at the feet of Jesus, and he will help us and see us through. Grant us wisdom and know what to say and when to say what at what time. Pray that the Lord will help us.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
As we conclude, let us remember that spiritual purity is not perfection. It is the ongoing journey of leading from a place of wholeness, clarity, and purpose. When women grow spiritually, families strengthen, workplaces transform, and society flourish. Thank you for our panelists, our wonderful, gracious, eloquent panelists that have spoken today, and all the participants that have shared their thoughts, who also contributed immensely to the richness of this session. Thank you for taking the time. Who also contributed immensely to the richness of this. Thank you for taking the time. Yes, I think I'm re-echoing, but we thank God for his mercies. Thank you to everyone who is here. We pray that what you have learned here in this session, you'll be able to implement in your place of work, in your home, and in society at large. So may today's dialogue inspire deeper reflection, stronger support systems, and a renewed commitment to nurturing spiritually grounded female leadership in every sphere of life. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amen.
This
and
is
thank you
Amen.
again for the privilege. Yeah.
Thank you. You can also your mic.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abimbola. Thank you, Odessa. Thank you, Mahaya. Thank you, Ramatu. Thank you, Thank you, Ramatu. Thank you for taking time. Thank you, Ibrahim-Pam. Thank you for everything you have done for us. Thank you. Love you, Pam.
Take care. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Great job. God bless.
Thank you.